This fall is going to be a lot of very interesting releases, product releases. The tablet wars are heating up. The mobile phone wars are heating up. Who is going to win? Who is going to lose? Dan Gallagher is with us again. He's from San Francisco. All right, Dan, we know what the headliner is. Everyone knows it's Apple. It's always Apple. Let's talk about who else, though, in the next couple of months is going to be getting into the smartphone wars.
Well, we saw yesterday new device announcements from both Sony and Samsung. That was done in Germany at a big tech conference over there. Samsung put out a new version of its Galaxy Note, that big 5-inch smartphone that's sold surprisingly pretty well. Sony's updated its Xperia line. Next week, we're going to see new devices from Nokia and Motorola, at least. Possibly Amazon. We mentioned their event. There's rumor that they're working on a smartphone. And then, of course, September 12th, everybody expects an event from Apple for the iPhone 5, which is probably going to be the biggest seller. But, some of these other products might be able to do okay against it, but we'll have to see.
Right. And I think it's very interesting. Another one that you want to mention is Microsoft, right? I mean, Microsoft is getting into this now, obviously late to the game, but they clearly have huge resources to throw at this. Let's talk about Microsoft for a second.
They've updated their Windows Phone operating system, and that launch is going to be this fall. It's called Windows Phone 8. And what's interesting here is it's not backwards compatible with some of the other Windows Phone devices that have sold. So the companies that have made Windows Phone smartphones, like most particularly Nokia, Samsung, and HTC to a smaller extent, have to put out new devices for this. Samsung did announce a device yesterday for Windows Phone 8, but Nokia is a really big question because they're the one company that has put an exclusive bet on Windows Phone to see how well they can do. I don't think anybody expects Windows to overtake Apple or Android, or even close to that, but if they can carve out maybe a distant but strong third place, they might surprise people.
Yeah, Dan, I was reading your story, which is on MarketWatch.com. You folks can all see it. And I have to say, very much what really jumped out at me was the fact that you didn't mention a certain company that used to lead the world in this until very late in your story. I think you know who I'm referencing there.
Yes, RIM has obviously usually been a factor in the smartphone war with the BlackBerry, and I don't think we're going to see anything new from them until sometime next year when they get their new operating system out. And of course, the question then will be, will there be much competitive space left for them coming after iPhone 5 and all these other new devices? It's a real problem for the company that they'll have to come up with something really amazing, I think, to do well.
Right, and all these phones from all these companies. What is the quarter going to look like? I believe it's going to be a very good quarter for these companies, right?
It'll probably be mostly a good quarter for Apple. Apple's managed to capture a lot of the profits that are in this category. So iPhone 5, whether that comes out late September or sometime in October, December quarter is probably going to be very big for them thanks to the iPhone. Samsung has been, a very strong second player to Apple with its Android devices. So it'll probably be good for them. I think the others are kind of a wild card in terms of how they will do. It'll kind of depend on, I think, the devices themselves and whether they have something that really differentiates them and sets them apart.
Right. All right, Dan Gallagher from MarketWatch. Thank you very much, sir. Talk to you soon.